I hope everybody have a lovely weekend. Just a continuation of what we started maybe 2-3 weeks ago in regards to HR configuration. So if I can make a bit of recap, I think when we started with data entry. From data entry, we started the configuration so that people can know what is on the back end. So, and from the configuration, we started based on what you can see on my right hand side. We started with the step 1, step 2, so which is creating the key flex fields, creating business group, creating the PAYE, creating the responsibilities, attaching the responsibilities to profile. So that's what we did, I think, 2 weeks ago. And last week we did some few values. So we added some values to whatever we've created. So for example, we created jobs, we added values. We created grade, we added values. We created grade rates. We added some values. We created some organizations, position. I mean, we have not done position, so we can leave that for now. So last week, I think we created a payroll. We created salary basis. So payroll will be where people's salary will be. Basically, will be where people's salary will be going. So that's a kind of payroll. And also we have salary basis, and salary basis is actually linked to payroll. So payroll would be mainly, like I said, payroll would be where just like if you combine quite a lot of people together, so people can be combined in payroll. So it could be like a kind of assignment set or element set where maybe 10. I mean, if we have 1,000 employees, you don't want to have one payroll. You can have, like, I don't know, maybe 5. You can have 10 payrolls. So you kind of group a lot of people to payrolls. So, and this is what you will use to pay them. So that's what I mean by payroll. So last week we did some payrolls. So let me just minimize this. Yeah, last week we created a payroll. So let me just quickly go back to payroll. So this is payroll. So this is the payroll we tried to create last week. So I tried to create this last week, but remember when I was trying to create it, I was kind of stuck here because it would not allow the employee PA reference number. So because I didn't add anything. Now, the reason why it was stopping me, I will tell you where I got this number from. So if I go out, sorry, no, not here. So when we created a business group, that was, I think, 2 weeks ago. And I think what we created, we said is this. So I think we created UK. Okay, so Excel business group. So in the Excel business group, we have something which is called tax reference. So in this tax reference, so that this is where I actually added these dummy values. So once you add these dummy values, and this is statutory within United Kingdom. So once you add this, then when you go to payroll, so when I go back to payroll, so this is payroll. So when I created a payroll, I was able to add it here. So that's why you can see it here. So this is what I added just last week after we finished the training last week. So the payroll is up and running. And if you notice, I said from 2009 for 40 years. I wanted to run for 40 years. After 40 years, this can be increased to 100 years. You can do as much as you want. And once I've done that, I went into valid payment method. Remember, we created a payment method. So this is a payment method, so which are actually added here. So which are actually added here. So once you've done that, then if you go to what I did, was I went to after we've done that, remember we created salary basis. So we created salary basis. So this is a salary basis we created. So we said everybody monthly, they're just gonna get monthly salary. If we want, we can add, we can say annually, but we just want to say monthly. So this is what I did, and what we need to do today, very quickly, it wouldn't take time, is we need to link it. So what I did for the salary basis, normally this, because we're doing configuration, everything must always be 1951. So here, this is where we created some elements. We created a few elements. So this is one of the elements which we're going to use for salary basis, which is monthly salary. So what we just need to do, some of the elements which we created, I think some of the elements will be, if I can go to if I say Excel. Yes, these are the elements which we created. We said X food, X driving, housing allowance, travel allowance, and this one as well. So once you've done that, what we need to do, because we did not create payroll last week, what we need to do, we need to attach it, or else they will not be eligible. So what we need to do, just say Excel. I think most of the Excel will come up anyway. So for example, this is one. So we just need to link it. So we're 1951 and just do save. Oh, sorry, I think I've done this already. So I've done, so that's fine. So once I've done that, so I can just click on any other one. So if I haven't, so if, sorry, no. So just Excel. So yeah, so driving allowance. So I can just attach it, then save. Oh, I think I've done most of them actually. So let me see if I can, let me go out actually. Go out. Some of them, I may have done them last week. So let me just cross check again. So Excel, this is one of the allowances. So link to payroll, save. Okay, I haven't done this. So I go back, I go out again, just do Excel. So I can do the second one. I'm going to link it to payroll. This will create eligibility for anyone, any employee that are attached to this payroll will be eligible for this. Any employee that that doesn't have this payroll will not be eligible. So that's why a link is more of an eligibility. So I've done the food, so I can do the allowance. And if I don't do it, I will not be able to see it in the elements. So let me do the next one. So travel allowance. And I think there's one more. Oh, I think I've done, yeah, I think I've done this anyway, so that's fine. Okay, so we can go out of here. So if I go back to this employee, some of the few employees we've created, may remove 1951 because this is a new employee. So if I put me there, so that's the name of the employee. Find. So if you go to assignments, so if I click here, I will be able to see that payroll which I created. Can you see? You can see the payroll. And if I go to entries, actually, what we need to do before we go to entries, let's just populate all this first. So I think it's time we can populate all this. So let's say this guy is going to be working in the human resources department. Yearly accrual, so that means every year, because it's a new hire, is going to be entitled to 20 days per annum. So what is the job? So I can just some of the jobs which we have. If I can just go to, if I can click on, so I can see what we created. So some of the jobs we created, we only created 4. So I can just put economics. It doesn't matter. So we can just link up to anything. Grade. I think we have some grades. So if I go to grade, list of values, put percentage, do find. So it's going to show you some of the grades which we have. I can just say grade 1. Location. I think we have two locations. Yeah, headquarters and London. Sorry, location office. We can just say headquarters. Position, we've not done position, we can leave down for now. So payroll, we only created 1 payroll. If you notice, assignment, the status says active assignment, it always defaults to that. And the number is auto-generated, so the number is coming out from here, from this number. The moment you save and you go to assignment number, you can just see the same number. Now, assignment category, so let's just say this guy is going to be full-time. Let's say full-time regular. We don't need any information here. So the salary basis, remember we've created salary basis, just put EX, so EX salary basis. So who's going to be the supervisor? I think I've created a supervisor. Let me see if there's going to be any supervisor. Oh, sorry. There is more. I've created a supervisor. Okay, yeah. So I created a supervisor, so that's fine. So we can go to, if we go to probation, because it's a new hire, we can just say probation 1, or just say 2 months. So that's a probation. Notice period, you can just give 1 month notice. So 2 months probation and then 1 month notice. Standard condition, how many hours is it going to be working every week? So let's say 40 hours per week. So is it going to be a contingent, which is an agency, or is it going to be an employee? So because employee are salaried, agency are hourly. So yeah, it's going to be salaried. So we can just say F. What time is going to be coming to work? So we can just say from 9 to let's say 5. This is not mandatory. So anything that is yellow is mandatory. So I don't really need to fill it, but it's just okay to fill it. Statutory, we don't need anything here. So if I go to, nothing is mandatory here anyway. So contract end date. So this is a permanent staff. So they're not on contract. This will only be applicable to agents. So we don't need this. So I can just say cancel. So once you're happy with whatever you've done here, you can just save it. Okay, so once it's saved, it says transaction completed, 1 record applied and saved. So the next thing you need to do, just to make sure what you've done is fine, is to go to salary. You click on salary. So I'm still waiting for it to come up. Okay, so while we're waiting for that, it's very slow because it's a self-service page. So while we're waiting for that, so the next thing you need to do is go to entries. So on the entries, this is where you can see some of the allowances which we've done. So if you go to entries, we can just say X. And here you can see some of the allowances. The reason why I was able to see the allowances is because this employee is eligible because it's got the payroll linked to these allowances. So I can just say driving allowance. So just say OK. And click on entries. So we can just say 123 per month. So save. So maybe it's only entitled to 2 allowances. So food allowance. Here, just press OK, or yeah, and you go to and here you can just say 222 a month and save. Okay, so let me see if this page has come up now. Okay, the page has come up. It doesn't matter, I'm not bothered. So if you go to add salary, so if you do, let's say from today's date, so we can just give him a salary of 222 of monthly, then just click on apply. Salary created successfully, so close. So if you go here, so let me just refresh this. Entries. So if you notice, Excel salary monthly, here you can see the 222 here. So that's the way it works. So this is what constitutes the salary. This a combination of this, the food allowance, the driving allowance will now go into this employee's payslip because these are earnings on a monthly basis. So once you've done that, then you go to once you've done it, we've done the salary, we've done the entries. So the next thing which we need to do very quickly, I'll just go out of here. So there's something called extra information. If you notice, there's nothing here at the moment. Extra information will constitute information for this employee, which will be any kind of information like work permits, driving license, details on passports, if they've done any military service. Also, in the future, if there's any disciplinary events. So all this, we need to capture it. If you notice, there's no space to capture all the work permits, driving license or passports on this page at all. Even if I go to assignments, there's nothing here. So this is where, so basically what we can do is to create all this in what is called an extra information. So it's here. So this extra information, so we need to capture this somewhere here. So what we need to do is to just to create it. So this could take a bit of time, but I will just quickly create it. So if we go to sysadmin, we go to application, flex field, descriptive, and segments. So because it's called extra information, you query extra information here, just put extra person, extra person. Okay. Okay, so you this is where you do the extra information. If you notice, there's a lot of standard here. So what you need to do, just unfreeze. So depending on our time, we can do maybe 3 or 4. So if we're going to do a new one, just say a new one. Just click on the green button. And here we can just say Excel work permits, something like this. So, and you go to segments. So on this segment, you just click on one. So the first one you need to do is to say, yeah, because it's work permits, we can just say permits, permits status. So click on the column and just select maybe just number 1. The next one is, we need to do the value set, but we can do that one later. So number 2, So number 2, we can just say what is the effective date, or actually before I do the effective date, I can just say expiry. Or actually, effective date will be the first one because it needs to start. So effective date. So I can just select the number 2. Okay. So number 3. So expiry date. Expiry date. So I can just make it easy for myself and just click on number 3. And number 4, I can just say permit number. Number 4. Okay, and I think that should be fine. But because it's a permit, we need to add 2 more items. So we can just say issuing authority. Issuing authority. So PAI number 5. And number 6, we can just say 6. We can just say authority location. Um, 6. So authority location. So this should be fine for now. So now the work permitted status. Normally we need to put some value sets. Okay, we can just quickly add some value sets here. So we can just say Excel permit. Let me just put this now. So permit status. Chart is fine, so we can just put 30. Independent is okay, just save. So copy that. So that's number 1. So that one is done. And I don't want to make it mandatory, so I can just click on not required and save. Okay, so the next one is just effective date. So these are just dates, so you can just use Oracle Standard. I think it's S. Date record. Okay, I can just use this. No, sorry, FND standard, if I'm right. Yeah, this is the one I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm not going to make it mandatory. So just untick it, and that's fine. So because the next one is also a date, so I can just copy paste. I'm not going to make this mandatory as well. Save. So the next one, I don't think this is what I'm just going to do because it's a number. So I'm just going to make it a free text. So I'm not going to make it required because of our time. So because it's a number, so I can just say maybe just 10. I'm just going to put 10 there. So that will allow me to put number. The same thing with issuing authority. I can make it a free text. So if I make it a free text, then I can just go to make. I'm not going to make it required. Then I can make it 40. Okay, so once you're done with that, then location as well, I'm gonna make a free text, so I can just not make it required. Then that should be fine. Then yeah, that's fine. 50 is okay. Okay, so the only thing we need to do here is make sure we are able to put some values on the permit status, so we can just freeze. To be honest, I think there are almost 5 or 6 which I wanted to do, but let's try one, then I will just show you how it works, then maybe we can go to the next one. So I can just save this, compile. Okay. Okay, so once it compiles, you can just go to validation, then values, so that we can add values to this. Then just click on find. So what values? So status, we can just say permanent, or just temp. Let's just use those 2 values for now, then save. So once you're done with that, then the next one will be, okay, so once you're done with that, so the next stage will be go back to your responsibility. So you click on I think others. Oh, this is not others. It is security. Sorry. Security and information type. Now, before we do that, the first thing we need to do is actually to register it. I'm not sure. I hope I've got the register. Okay. That's another thing. I just hope I've got it registered. So if I do register, okay, I've got it. So register. Okay, so the table name. So we will need to run this concurrent program first, because you see people is people extra information. So we need to look for the information. So this is X. So can you see X work permits, multiple rows? We said, do you want it to only be in United Kingdom or you want it to be global? Yeah, we can say we want it to be global, because once you put it in United Kingdom, that means people, if you're rolling out the same thing in you, but if you put legislation code, if you don't put anything, that means it can be rolled out for, you can make it global. Let me put it that way. So I can just say, okay, then submit. So let me refresh. Yeah, it's completed. So once it's completed, the next thing I need to do is to look for that responsibility here. I think we have Excel responsibility. And here I can just add it. So we scroll Excel, then save. So once you save it, so this is where you can find it. So if you go to people, enter and maintain, and if I go to this employee, others, can you see? You can see the work permit there, and in the work permit, go to details, and you can see every details which we've done. So this permit status, you can see permanent and temporary. So the information is there. So effective day. So these are free text. You can do these are free text, and make this free text as well. This is number, and this is also a free text, and that's also a free text. So we can, I mean, basically, this is work permits. in a normal working environment, you always have this because people are coming from different nations. You need to know their status. What is their work permit, or if they're a citizen, what is their passport details? So you need to add passports. We need to add driving license. We need to add so that we can have the details of the driving license if they've done any military service before, so we can add that. I mean, I've got everything with me, so because of our time, I mean, I've only done one at the moment. We can do as much as we want, so we can just add it here. So yeah, basically those are the kind of information which you can actually add for every single employee. So, and this is it's not really mandatory for every company, but you need those information, especially from HR perspective, because people are coming from different nations. You need those information. You're not going to get only British people working for you. You're going to get people from, I mean, diverse countries coming to work for the company. So you need all the details, and also for reporting purpose as well. Yeah, so that's it. So we can just do one more. Then once I do that, then we can go to our absences. So let me just try one more. If I go back to okay, so you go to application, flex field, and you go to descriptive, segments. Okay, so what we did here was we went to, we say extra, just extra person, and you put percentage there. Just go to the next one. So here, just unfreeze, and you just click down here and click a new one. So because we have X, so we can just say X, let's passport details. So you click number. So like I was saying before, you can just have from number 7 because we've used 1 to 6 for the other one. So for work permit, so we can just start from 7. Okay. Yeah, number 7. So once you do that, so go to the next one. So we can just quickly do as much as we can because of our time. So number 2, we can just put issue date. Issue date. So PI, so we can use the number 8. So that's number 8. Okay, let's do 2 more. Then that would do. The system is slow today, very slow. Okay, so expiry date. expiry date. So PRE, let's say number 9. And the next one, or the last one, place of issue. So okay, place of issue. Number 9. So that will be number 10. 10. Okay. So this we did what we're gonna do. Okay, because these are days, so we can just put FN. Okay, so this is gonna be FND, and this is standard. Sorry, this system is not always that slow, but today it looks like it is extremely slow. So, and you just copy that and just put it on the second one. Now, what we need to do, we don't want to make them mandatory, so we can just click on open, untick, save. So the same thing, you go to the next one, open, untick, save. This one, even though they haven't got any value, but they will still be mandatory, so you need to make sure they're not mandatory. So you click there and untick and save. And the last one, which is the first one, so open, untick, and save. So once you've done that, so we're done with this, and we can just save. So let me copy that. So we can just save, then freeze, so compile, okay. So once you're done with that, so the next stage, which is what we did for the work permits, is we went to the list, to the responsibility for Excel. Okay, the first thing we need to do, just go there to view request so we can run the program. Submit a new request. So this will make us to register the EIT, extra information type we just created. So just type in register. So register EIT. So it opens this page. So just click on look for the table. The table name. So This is what we needed. And if you put Excel there, Excel passport details, and it says multiple, yeah, multiple rows are needed. Legislation, do you want to make it global or you want it to be only within United Kingdom? Let's make it global, so we can just untick and save, then submit. So once you submit, so just click for refresh. I think it's actually done it. So once it's done it just is completed normal. So the next stage is to add it to the responsibility. So you go to security, and information type security. So you look for your responsibility, and here you can just add work passports. Here, passport details, and save. So once you save this, then you go to, let's go to the employee. So on this page, go to others, and you can see extra information, and you can see the passport details. So if you click on the details here, so you can see every information. Because these are free text, so these are just the information which we have. So place of authority, if you have a lot of list of values, you can actually add list of values here. But at the moment, I make it a free text where you can just type in anything you want. So, and this has numbers, or it could be char numbers. So it could be anything. So yeah, so this is what we have at the moment. I mean, to be honest, because this system is very slow, I think we can only do 2. So I've got 3 or 4 more, but it is too slow for me to work with. So hopefully by next week it will be much more faster. So, and also we're unable to do absence management. So next week, what we're gonna do, we're just gonna focus on absence management. This absence management is more like statutory leaves, so which is like annual leaves, maternity, paternity, any kind of sick leave. So we can work on that next week, because with this system very slow, there's no way I can do that. So hopefully by next week it will be much more faster, so we can work on that. So like I said, what we did today, we call it EIT, which is extra information type. This is very, very crucial in a lot of place of work, because in every place of work, you have a lot of information which you need to add to your employees, and Oracle do not have those fields. They don't have the values, so you can only create EIT to be able to do this. So EIT here, at times it could be up to 50. We've only done 2. So in some companies, they can have almost 50. They can have, I don't know, they can have close to 100. So those 100 will be applicable to every employee. So, but whatever will be applicable to specific employee, they can just select it and just populate it. So this is very, very crucial in a lot of, most of the companies I work with, they always use EIT because it is very, for example, all these fields is not in Oracle. So you can create an EIT yourself, and so that you can capture a lot of information, and also for reporting purpose. And every one of them can be it can be reported on. So that's the reason why they always have EITs. So we only did 2 today because I would have done like 4, because I've got 4 or 5 on my list which we can do. But at the moment, because the system is too slow, so we can only do only 2. So hopefully maybe when we meet during the workshop, you guys can practice on this. You can think of anything in your place of work and you can bring it to the board, and we can just add it to the list. So I think this is the end for the course today. If you have any question, please let me know. Like I said, next week we'll work on absence management. Absence management is very, very intense as well, because everybody needs to go on maternity, people need to go on paternity, so, and also most of the statutory leaves, everybody needs them one way or the other. So we need to set them up next week, so that this will help you guys to be able to say, oh, this is actually where all this information are coming from. This is how they actually set it up. So we can do that next week. So thank you very much. So if you have any question, please I'll just go to the question section if there's any. Okay, somebody says, can I increase my volume? Sorry, I didn't see that. I just hope that you can hear me. So I think it's from me, because it looks like I was speaking. Oh, increase your volume. Volume seems okay on mine. Okay. Any more? But I'm trying to inquire about. Okay, now this is for automation. So I don't think there's any more question. If you have any more question, please let me know. And if you have any personal question, I think I am on Telegram. Please, you can just message me. I will reply you. Though I'm not really used to Telegram, but I will try as much as possible to reply you. And if you have my number, please give me a call. We can talk about Oracle. So I can, and if there's no other question to everybody, and see everybody next week. Thank you. Bye bye.